This segment of Naperville Sports Weekly is brought to you by the Daily Herald.
We are here at Neuqua Valley High School with head coach of the boys cross country team, Coach Paul Vandersteen. Thanks for joining us in your 20th year, third state championship here at Neuqua Valley. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Eric.
So, first thing I want to start with is this is your first state championship since 2009, and you didn't have quite the Cubs layoff, but how was it kind of in between there, between 2009 and 2016? What was it? Did that feel like a long time since there's only 1 year between the other two?
You know what? It really didn't, because we still had the same groups of guys that come in and work hard, and we're still fortunate to have some success. We had a couple trophies in there. We had a couple third places. So, we were close a couple times. We got fourth a couple times. So, yeah, every time we've gotten into that state meet, we've run fairly well, and I've been very proud of the guys for what they've done.
Now, this program being such a powerhouse, I guess you could say, so much success here. What do you think's been the key to that success year in and year out since you've been here?
I think the biggest key is the guys have bought in. Sometimes it takes a while for a program to establish a buy-in, and we were fortunate to have that, with guys like, Nick Dunn and Dan Box and Chris Derrick and, Danny Pavola, Aaron Beatty. I can just go on, but these are guys that fully committed to do all the little things and do it well, and get the work done when the coaches aren't watching. And when that started to happen, other guys followed suit and understood the formula, and started to buy in, and we became more successful.
And Josh talked about that, doing stuff as a team even when it's not practice. Do you think that's almost as important, if not more important, than during season when you're practicing as a team?
Yeah, I would say so. Because you got to figure there are only so many days that the coaches are allowed by the IHSA to have contact with the athletes, and that's obviously during the season. And then during the summer, we only have 25 contact days. So, all those other days, if they're not putting the work in, there's no way they'll be successful come November 5th.
What would you say your coaching motto or style is compared to other coaches? It could be hands-on, whatever. What would you say yours is?
I would say I'm very athlete-friendly. I don't yell. Mm-hmm. I'm not a yeller. I'm not a guy that tries to push athletes for extrinsic reasons. I think I try to work with their intrinsic motivation, their why they want to run, and so I kind of lead with that. Also, I'm a big believer. I'm kind of an Al Carius follower in that regards, that if you're not having fun, then why are we doing it? So fortunately, I have four amazing assistants this year that understand that, and they make practice fun, and the athletes then buy into that and realize that, hey, we can have fun and still be successful. So I think that's important.
And you mentioned Al Carius. I wanted to ask you, is he who you modeled your coaching off, or who else have you modeled it off?
I think it's a lot of people. I big borrow and steal from anybody that I see that's successful, and ask myself the question of why, and look at some of the things that they do and try to incorporate some of those. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't, but I don't think it hurts to try.
Now, process getting from the beginning of the season to the end of the season where you are now, what do you try to reiterate to the team on a day-to-day basis?
I think the thing that is most important is they come to practice with the attitude that they're going to get better. They're investing in trying to get better. And I've seen young men come to practice every day and actually regress, not get any better. So the brain is a powerful organ, and if you don't put it to work, then the body's not going to respond. So cross country, long distance running, for the most part, is a thinking man's sport. It really takes a lot of mental energy, and I think it's important that the athletes invest mentally into why they're doing what they're doing, and purposely training to get better.
Josh, your first team captain for here at Neuqua Valley since 2003.
Yeah.
Why did you name him a team captain, and why so long in between?
Yeah, I found that the guys were going to lead whether I named them a captain or not. But this team, and we've had this conversation, so I'm not afraid to say this publicly. This team had a lot of different personalities, and we didn't always get along very well. These guys are very competitive, and they want to beat one another, and sometimes that got in the way of us working together. And over the season, that transformation happened. So I guess that's what I'm most proud of this Group 4, is they finally understood that they didn't have to battle one another, that they could actually work together to achieve a goal. And, I think the reason that Josh was named a captain was we needed someone to make some decisions because there was so little too much dissension in the group.
Well,
so yeah, it did. And you know what? They came to me and wanted somebody to be named as a decision maker, as a leader. So I'm like, all right, let's do it.
And people that don't know cross country or know very little about it, they'll assume it's just running. Why do you need? And they might assume, why do you need to be together as a team? Can you explain why that's so important?
Yeah, you really do. You need one another because in order to train, for that support, for just generally doing the workouts, you need to have somebody there to push you and to make you think about what you're doing. And if you don't have that, then you're kind of on your own. Even the elite athletes need a coach. Even the elite athletes need teammates. There's no accident that the United States has elevated their distance running stature in the world. And the reason is because these clubs have gotten together and these guys are working together instead of doing it on their own.
Was there a moment in this season, could have been during the regular season or regionals, anything like that, that was maybe a defining moment for this team that got you to where you're at now?
I would say it was the Peoria Notre Dame invite the first invite down in Peoria in mid-September. It was a very hot day, but the guys implemented our race plan to perfection. They ran together and, really didn't turn it on to that last mile. And that kind of became our standard, the way that we went about racing. And that's what we did in the state meet. We knew that it was going to be very close through 2 miles and that we were going to have to exert everything we had that last mile to make it happen.
And when you were talking about the team bond, or you were talking about the team being together and Josh was talking about the team bonding stuff, do you have anything to do with the team bonding outside of practice or any of the meets? No. We do a lot of things in practice to empower team bonding. We do a lot of fun things together. But it's up to them to kind of get together, to go out to eat, go to each other's houses, to play video games, whatever they do. That's kind of their own leadership and their own, they initiate that. What was unique about this team as opposed to the other 2 state title teams?
I would say the personalities. There's just some really unique personalities. Not that the 2007 and 9 teams didn't have those, but there were more differences on this team. Okay. 1 through 12, if you will, and it was a matter of balancing those personalities and making it work.
Final question for you here: what do you think? What would say your favorite memory is in your 20 years here in Neuqua Valley?
Wow.
You can take your time.
Yeah. I'd have to say my favorite memory was 2007. Just when we won that first state title. When Jimmy Riddle went down, in the last 40 meters, and just literally crawled across the finish line, and for us to still win the state title without his top 5 scoring contribution, that was pretty amazing.
That's something you can't make up.
No, you really can't. And for that 2017 to go on and win a national title was that was just incredible. And there were a lot of parallels between 2007 and this season. And there were, we lost our projected number 2 guy, Danny Winnick, to a sacral stress fracture, so he never even ran this year. And then Scott Anderson, who was our returning number 1, was not one of our top 5 guys in the state meet. He was our 6th guy because he had an injury and was out for 6-7 weeks. So it's ironically, we did what we did without our projected number 1 and number 2. You never know who's going to be those guys, but if you were to predict who was going to be 1 and 2 at the end of last spring, neither one of those guys even factored in to our top 5 anyway.
That shows how important depth is.
Yeah, it does. And Scott and Danny had a huge influence. Even though they didn't score for us, they still had a huge influence in terms of their leadership and how they contributed otherwise.
Well, that's always big for you. Pretty much another coach out there as a player. That's a nice
thing
to have. Well, congratulations on your 3rd state title, and good luck in the future.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks.